G'day Super Coaches, not long now until BBL 14 kicks off. Let's see how easy it is to pick a team for SuperCoach BBL. So I'm going to start with my wicket keepers, and with the Melbourne Stars and Renegades on the double in round one, and Joe Clark as a replacement player for Ben Duckett, who's going to be on test duties. I think at 117k, Joe Clark, who's got plenty of experience in the BBL, is a great way to start your SuperCoach BBL team. And then don't want to waste too much money on the wicket-keeping bench, and we know how important loopholes can be as well for captaincy in SuperCoach BBL. So I'm going to pick Jake Doran, who's the only 39k wicket-keeper in the game, as my two wicket-keepers. So move over to the bats, and I'm going to try and pick as many all-rounders as possible. I know that some people will raise an eyebrow at the fact that I'm not picking Matt Short, but I'm not paying 304k to start with him. I think I'll start Glenn Maxwell, pending the hamstring injury that he suffered in the T20 series against Pakistan being right to go, and then probably flip him to Matt Short in round two when they've got the double. I'm going to pick Matt Short's teammate, though, Jamie Overton, because I think trying to fit Overton and Matt Short in round two will be near impossible. I think you've got to start one of them, so I'll start the all-rounder in Overton. And another all-rounder who's got a double in round two and really dominant, especially when he plays over in Perth's Aaron Hardy, so I don't want to miss out on him. I think he could be really important and a potential captaincy option in round two as well. We'll stick with the all-rounder theme. I'm going to find the cash to sneak in my boy Bo Webster. He's in supreme form, probably on just the fringes of the test squad at the moment. He's going that well for Tasmania and even for Australia A as well. So I think with a double in round one, he's going to be really important for the Stars. And then another all-rounder as well. We're spending up big with 5 players over 150k here. Tom Curran, also from the Stars. The Englishman, he's got a supreme record in the BBL, and I think he's got a point to prove as well after that run-in with the umpire last year. So I think he'll go really well for the Stars. And then having spent a bit of cash on field, I won't be able to spend all that much on my bench, but I think there's a couple of standout cheapie options for your bat bench in SuperCoach BBL this year. And that is Ashton Turner from the Scorchers. He only played one innings last year before he injured his knee, and that's why with an average of 9.7, he's significantly underpriced on just how good he can be. So I think especially with the fact that Josh Inglis has been named in the test squad, if he doesn't get released, that might mean Ashton Turner bats in the top 4 for the Scorchers, and at only 70k, he could be a real bargain if he is batting in the top 4. And the other one I like, just cheaper than him, is Matt Renshaw as well. Got a 100 in the last couple of weeks in the Sheffield Shield for Queensland to show he's back in some sort of form. Nathan McSweeney's not going to be there for the summer either, so potential that Matt Renshaw bats at number 3 or number 4. And at only 68k, he could be a nice cash cow for us as well in SuperCoach BBL. Swing down now to the bowlers before we think about the all-new flex position. And I haven't left a lot of cash for the bowlers. I'm down to about 750k left to spend in these positions as well. So I'm going to have to look cheaper and look at the Stars and Renegades again to start things off. And thankfully there are a couple of really cheaper options from both of those teams. I've seen a few people picking Tom Rogers at 117k from the Renegades, which I think is a really good option. And one of the first I picked was Will Sutherland, but he's under a bit of an injury cloud at the moment, so I've left him out. I'm going to go with Fergus O'Neill, who's been in brilliant form for the Vicks, making runs as well, so I think he probably bats. He's the first of the bowlers that's going to come in for the Renegades. He's going to bowl in the power play, I would think, and try and hoop it around at Marvel Stadium. So 107k, I think he can be a really good option and might even sort of get a couple of 20s to get the strike rate bonus as well, potentially later in innings. Marcus Stoinis, after the way that he finished the T20 series against Pakistan, he's an easy pick and he's really popular. So even if he doesn't bowl for the Stars, like I think he's bowled 30 overs in the past 5 BBLs, which is less than ideal, but hopefully we can get a couple of good innings out of him. God forbid the Stars put him back to the top of the order where he does his best work. I think you've got to pick Adam Zampa at 80k, one of the best T20 spinners in the world at that price after well and truly his worst BBL last summer is just too cheap to pass up. So there's 3 that I think are really well priced for the bowlers. I've left myself with 480k to play with for 5 spots, so obviously not a lot. I'm going to try and future plan again, 6 spots I should say, because I've got the flex as well. But I'm going to try and future plan again and go a bit cheaper on my bench. So we go right to the bottom. I was looking at Jordan Buckingham until he got injured, which is a bit unfortunate because I really like him. I think he's a very good bowler, but I think I'll pick his teammate Brendan Doggett for now, who I think might be in the team early on. I'm also going to pick Riley Meredith, who's bowling really well at the moment in sort of Shield and List A cricket, and I think he's going to be a really nice cash cow early on in the season. I probably won't play him because the Hurricanes don't have an early double, but I think at 80k, I can see him making a fair bit of cash for our Supercoach teams early on, which leaves me with 328k for the last 3 spots. I'm going to take a bit of a flyer on Mark Steckety for round 1. I've probably got too many stars, to be honest. I think I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stars now, so that's less than ideal, and I might have to play around with those spots. But I think Steckety, if he can get into the team, especially with Scott Boland on test duties, yeah, he could potentially be one that works out really well. The player that I quite like, and I totally understand why a lot of people are trending towards picking Sean Abbott or picking Ben Dorshus at around that 130k mark, but I think Jack Edwards is the best of those 3 of the Sixers options. Potentially bats in the top 4 or 5. He's going to bowl 4 overs almost every game, so if there's one Sixer that you want to pick with their sort of round 3 double, I think it is, I think Edwards is the priority of those 3, and then you can target Abbott or Dorshus to trade in. So I'm going to finish my team with 112k to play with. Actually, I've got to swing one of those bowlers down. So I'll put Tom Curran into the bowlers, because the player that I want to sneak in, because I think he might pick up a couple of cheeky overs as he's been doing for Victoria, is Josh Brown from the Renegades. And he's a bat only, so I need to put him there, which leaves me with Curran, 152k. There you go, 200k left over. Save my team. Put Tom Curran on the field for Brendan Doggett, knowing that early double. And Jack Edwards for Riley Meredith. Whack a couple of emergencies on Meredith and Turner. I don't think Doran's going to play, so I won't even worry about that. But that's how easy it is to pick a Supercoach BBL team for BBL 14. Head to supercoach.com.au and get yours in today.